Hi everybody, welcome to the Headwaters Science Center live stream. Just before we get started, I just want to say thank you to the Beltrami Electric Co-op for the Roundup program, making it possible for us to do this. And again, if anyone wants to come into the Science Center, we're open most days of the week from Monday to Saturday, 9:30 to 5, and on Sundays, 1 to 5. So today we're going to kind of focus in on something I touched on a bit last week when I was talking about taxonomy, which was our parrot, Angel. Now, Angel is a blue-fronted Amazon. The scientific name for them, just to make sure I pronounce this right, is Amazona estevia. There's a few other parrots in that genus, Amazona, such as the Amazon yellow-faced parrot. And the reason we typically want to go by the scientific name is because these birds, specifically angel species, have quite a few common names. Everything from turquoise-fronted parrot to blue-faced parrot, which is also used for a few other parrots around the world. But some of the stuff I want to focus in on is stuff that makes parrots not just unique as bird, but highlights some of the stuff that makes birds unique as far as animals go. So the first thing is their feathers. So angel's feathers, you'll notice, are this array of bright colors, and some of those colors are achieved with pigments, like the sort of the darker sort of reds, and there's a little bit of black feathering on her, and then also those yellow colors are achieved with pigments, sort of like the way that we would dye clothing a different color, whereas a lot of the stuff for like that blue around her face where her species gets its name is actually achieved with a structural color. And what that is basically there's these small little microstructures that trap little air pockets in the feather itself, and when light interacts with it and the air, it creates this blue color. And the fun fact is if you take these blue feathers and you dip them in something like oil, they would actually change color because they're no longer using air as the refracting medium. But the other stuff that's kind of cool about these feathers on these birds is there's actually stuff that we just physically can't see as humans. We don't possess the correct cones in our eyes, which are light receptive cells, to actually perceive it. But these birds have what is called tetrachromatic vision. They have 4 different channels for perceiving light, 4 different types of cone cells in their eyes. And what those allow them to do is actually see in the UV spectrum. So a cool thing about these parrots that was discovered recently was that to most of us, the male and female Amazon blue-fronted parrot is pretty much identical. But recently they put them under a UV light and a spectrometer and realized that they actually look really different when you look at them through the waves of light that the birds can see that we can't. And that's something that's not unique to parrots, but it's something that is very common in parrots, where they actually have a lot of UV pigment and coloration in their feathers that differentiates the males and females, because most parrots, to our eye, are not sexually dimorphic, meaning the males and females look relatively the same. And this is a cool discovery because it also intersected with another recent discovery, which is that humans on the UV spectrum of light are bioluminescent and striped, which Angel here can see, but our eyes actually can't pick that up. And it's a really fun little thing, and I can go into the human bioluminescence another day. But back on the parrot, Angel also has a really unique foot structure that she shares with ours, which is called zygodactyl feet, where she has 2 toes in the front and 2 toes in the back on each foot, which gives her a really good grip. And you can see that on this perch. She gets a really nice, solid grip on that, and it gives her a lot of strength and dexterity. And what that allows them to do is, in concert with their beak and their tongue, they're able to manipulate objects, and parrots are one of the few animals on Earth that can use tools. Now, the other cool thing about a parrot's beak is one of the strongest sets of jaws for an animal their size. It can exert some of the larger species roughly 500 to 700 pounds per square inch, which is roughly equivalent to animals like Rottweilers and German Shepherds. large breeds of dogs known for their jaw strength. The other kind of cool thing about parrots is they live a long time. They are able to live in captivity 80, 90 years. In the wild, 60 is not unheard of. And what that lets them do is utilize this really, really nice brain, and she just gave me a little warning there, and they pick up a lot of knowledge. They learn a lot from their parents, and then learn a lot from experience. So they will pick up different tool use, different sounds they can make, different sources of food in their environment. And it lets them be really adaptable. So parrots are actually known to be quite durable invasive species. They will show up in cities all over the world. I'm from the Bay Area, California, and in San Francisco, there is a huge flock made up of multiple species of parrot that fly around the city and cause a lot of problems. But yeah, no, parrots, I think, highlight some of the stuff where birds have a universal body plan where they have 2 wings, 2 legs, a head, and a beak, and a tail. But there's a lot birds can do with that. You'll notice that angel here is different than, let's say, a penguin or a red-tailed hawk. And it's something that I'll talk about at a later date when we bring out snakes, is that despite having a relatively universal body plan, the subtle differences have these really massive sort of changes in behavior and what that animal can do. But yeah, so we're going to end it there with Angel doing a nice little warning bite on my finger, which also shows a nice amount of self-control. That beak could take off my finger, and she just gives me a little, hey, I don't want to be pet right now. But yeah, you guys can come in and see Angel